Legba, open the gate for me, I'll go eat. Ativon Legba, open the gate for me. The gate for me, Papa, so that I may enter the temple, and on my way back I shall thank you. Angela Dennis. That is a song to the spirit Legba, and is one of the most admired still today in Louisiana Voodoo. Louisiana Voodoo is one of the main, noteworthy, yet diverse artistic issues inspiring Louisiana. Before we can be thankful for Louisiana Voodoo, we must first identify with its cultural history. There are three key areas to survey and have a handle on when assessing the voodoo practice, those being how it originated, central figures and practices, and the link between voodoo and Christianity. Let's look at how voodoo first originated in Louisiana. Louisiana Voodoo, often referred to as New Orleans Voodoo, was introduced to the state by the slave trade in the 1700s. The slaves arrived to the French colony from Africa and brought with them their unique cultural practices. Spirit and ancestor worship is highly valued in the African culture. According to the book A Brief History on Voodoo, during the 1700s, the slave to white ratio was over 2 to 1, and in Louisiana, the authorities prohibited the separation of slave families, which allowed the slave population to drastically expand. Because of this, spirituality became widely accepted in the French Creole culture. The African knowledge of ritual charms and herbs sparked attention and gained a highly devout following. As the popularity of voodoo spread, many of the true followers felt that the religion was losing a lot of its true essence. Because of this, voodoo went underground. Once underground, misconceptions began widespread, labeling it a so-called tainted culture. This delusion, however, was far from the truth. Let's look at some of the central figures and practices that are highly regarded in the voodoo community. True followers think highly of voodoo queens and gris-gris. Voodoo queens were introduced to Louisiana voodoo during the 19th century. The voodoo queen's main purpose was to host ceremonial meetings. They also made charms and potions that aided with life events. The most famed voodoo queen of all time is Marie Laveau. She was the most dominant voodoo queen in New Orleans, and her powers exceeded all others. She held strict private rituals and communicated with the spirits. Oddly enough, Marie was a devout Catholic who encouraged all of her followers to attend Mass. Her achievements in the voodoo world are unsurpassed by any other. Thousands still today visit her tomb in New Orleans. Gris-gris is also vital to the voodoo practice. Gris-gris usually resembles some type of charm that are used to ask for good luck or to ward off evil. Many believe that gris-gris was probably in the beginning some type of doll, which is where the voodoo doll originated from. And many believe that the voodoo doll is used to hex or curse others, but this in fact is not true. Voodoo dolls were actually intended to bless others. The act of sticking pins into them was not to harm others. That was them pinning the names or pictures of spirits onto the dolls, in which they would then ask for anything from love to luck. And present-day gris-gris usually consists of a cloth bag that contains charms, herbs, or stones. Gris-gris is ritually made in an altar, and it always contains an odd number of items, but never higher than 13, because 13 is unlucky. And so it usually contains all these items. It's used under the protection of a god to protect the owner. It is rumored that Marie Laveau actually had very special gris-gris that contained bits of bone and graveyard dust. But it is important to know that without the history of knowing about the gris-gris and what it was really used for, one could perceive the practice as being tainted, but it was actually very special to those that believed. And finally, we should recognize the affiliation between Louisiana Voodoo and Christianity. Louisiana Voodoo recognizes one God and several spirits that preside over everyday matters of life. When the African language was changed to French Creole, the African spirit names then took on the names of Catholic saints. So, although Voodoo and Catholic practices are radically different, both the saints and spirits act as mediators with the Virgin Mary and Legba. Legba is Voodoo's main spirit. St. Peter is often compared to Papa Limba, because Papa Limba is the guardian of crossroads and gates, whereas St. Peter is the guardian of heaven. Lee Grand Zombi is a serpent, and he is the central figure to New Orleans Voodoo. And Zombi is often compared to St. Patrick, because St. Patrick is always depicted brandishing his staff at a snake. So the two are often really compared. Besides the obvious relationship between the saints and spirits, voodoo also includes the practice of reciting the Hail Mary and the Lord's Prayer, and the cross is also used in voodoo. Many followers of voodoo simultaneously practice Catholicism as well. Louisiana voodoo is actually not as tainted as everyone may initially perceive it to be. It is important that we base our knowledge of this unique culture on the history rather than what it has evolved into. Unlike the major tourist attraction that it is in New Orleans, Louisiana voodoo is actually meant to serve others and influence life events. We should be pleased that Louisiana voodoo is part of our unique culture and that Louisiana is so ethnically assorted. And we should be thankful for this and recognize voodoo as part of that diverse